Yes, good afternoon. Dave Langsether, violinresearch.com. Today I'm going to talk about a newly discovered or identified or researched acoustical relationship that's very important for the violin family, and it's basically going to be called the violin foot maker's cut tuning. So we're just talking about the G string side foot and the E string side foot of the bridge, and the tap tone we're interested here on the G side is tapping straight in here from the end. We'd like that to be 306 Hertz. So you need to tap it just like that, tap, tap, tap. Or you can make so this is just a little tool made out of a piece of violin making spruce, and violin making spruce for the plate, about 1/10 of an inch thick, and this is just glued in place. This side is just a finish nail, so I pre-drilled it and epoxied it in, ground the head off. And this is manila folder, just like you'd have on a manila folder. This is like an 8.5 by 10 manila folder, and just cut into pieces. And then these are probably an epoxy glue down on the surface, and you touch the center post here to give it some uprightness. And this is just to add a louder response. And if you want, you can put this pin in here at a bit of an angle, and you can taper this back side. So if you get up close, you can actually just tape it. If you got a chance to hear that. And this maker's cut taps down, just down on the top here. So those match at 306 Hertz. On the E string side, we're going to make those match at, I think it's 287, as I recall what it's supposed to be. Yeah, 287 Hertz. And again, this is tap straight in. And then down on the maker's cut part of the bar on the bridge. I'm not left-handed, so. On the E string side, 306, and on the E string side, both in on the foot and down on the maker's cut side is 287. Okay. Now the only tools we're going to need for this is a source for the frequency, and we'll cover that here in a little bit. I've got a tap tone reference you can use. For little hand tools, we've got our tapper, or you can use anything that works. We're going to have a X-Acto blade with a nice brand new sharp blade. We're going to have a jeweler's file. This one has a flat side surface on one side, so if you're near the varnish, you know, it'll kind of protect that. It's tapered. And the second one is also a jeweler's file, and it has a round shape to it that tapers. You can use that for if you need to lower the side tap. You can go in on equal amounts on each side of the foot, and that'll lower this tap down. If this tap is too low, you can take the file then, so the flat side down, and just on, you only want a little bit on the side of each equal amount on both sides of the foot until it raises up to the frequency you want. Okay, and once you have that 306, 287, then you can work on the maker's cuts, tapping down. And if this frequency is too high, just get out your knife and take just tiny little cuts. Just go right on, whoosh, on the side here. Just cut. Keep checking it because it changes very fast. And if you get it too low to raise it, you can take your little file, and we're going to file the edge of this end of the bottom edge of that maker's cut on the bottom, just that edge right there. Just a few light, and that will raise it back up. And once you get these matched, you'll get a very bright, responsive sound. And to give you an idea of just how much a difference it makes, and also to get it sorted for the tap, I'm just going to, okay. So this is just the website, violinresearch.com, all run together. And the home page looks like this. It says Violin Acoustical Directory in the center. And in this lower right-hand corner down here, you'll see one that says, How do violins sound like, made from these guidelines. Just click on that. And this says, How do my last 7 violins sound contest? And in that contest, there were seven violins, there they are, and they're all acoustically adjusted as evenly as I could. And the idea was the results of this contest would tell me where I needed to look or what's something that had the best sound, and I could try to identify what caused that. And out of that contest came this very adjustment for the bridge feed frequency and matched to the what I'm calling the maker's cut frequency. And the violin that won the contest was Opus 14. And studying all the violins and then testing them and everything, indeed this was the best relationship. So this is Mark Babson, a local Salem, Oregon player, very good, who's provided these sound tracks. So here's the Shokin Farewell by Jay Unger, and Mr. Unger gave us permission to use his piece here for this educational site. So this is to get an idea of what a violin with this kind of bridge tuning, bridge feet, maker's cut tuning. And this is a classical soundtrack. Okay. And then, by the way, these are just recorded in our living room. Just turn on the mic and that's what was recorded. It has good acoustical ceiling and floor, so on hardwood floor. Okay, so I think you see that, or you hear, that's a good, bright acoustical sound. So let's go back. This is the opening home page. If you click here in the middle, where it says Violin Acoustical Directory, this is our old website. And if you have a question about any acoustical subject, violin, varnish, sound holes, fingerboard, top plate, back plate, chin rest, tailgut saddle, any of these things, the G string side's up here and the E string side's down here at 287. So just double click on it. 306 hertz. So that's okay. And then for the E string side, you've got a reference here. You can adjust your speaker to get this sound up where you want it. And so if yours is higher than that or lower than that, you can make the adjustment. So I've given you a sound reference. All right, so that's basically it, and I can just tell you it makes an amazing difference, and it's worth a try. And once you get the hang of it, you can adjust a violin in about 10 minutes without any problem at all. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go over the how to access website information. So at the top here, it's just violinresearch.com. And then just push enter. And then it says violinresearch.com homepage. There's Joshua Bell. This is the main directory. And this is the button about how do violins sound like, made with these guidelines. So if you click on that, and this is the contest page for these 7 violins. And this is really the way to hear what these 7 violins sound like. And there's 3, the Shokin Farewell that Mr. Unger allowed us to use, and then 2 classical music samples. Mark Babson's our violinist. And so there's about 4 minutes for each violin. And because they're made in different ways, they sound different. And that's one of the things we're trying to learn out, is what combination of building trains and varnish ground and wood selection are going to make the best sound. But this is really the only way to hear what a violin really sounds like, because these are wave format. This is about as good as our ear can hear. So just go to this page, click on them, listen to the different sound examples for each violin. And so on, and to get a real feel for the difference sound can kind of make. So in this case, this is the little contest that allowed me, I guess, to isolate the Violin Bridge feet and then the Maker's Cut tuning. And thanks help from my son Brett Langsether, who's got a very good ear and steered me in the right direction. So in this case, there's the Opus 14 violin, and then the Opus 24 violin, and over here, the Opus 28 violin. All 3 of these violins had the same relationship with the bridge feet and the Maker's Cut matching, and they were also on the tap tone scale. So 14 was the highest, and then 24 was the next set, and 28 was the bottom set. And then by comparing those 3, I could find that this top set was the one that's the biggest use or focus or tuning of the bridge feet, Maker's Cut. So when the other violins, the other 4 violins out of the 7, just they had kind of they weren't any organized pattern, and the bridge feet didn't match the Maker's Cut tuning. So you can maybe get an idea of the difference that made. Okay, so this is really the way you need, even with a little web page, you still need earphones or good speakers to really hear the sound. So I just encourage you to do that. And one last thing. So if you go back to this opening page, there's a lot of interesting things here. But if you click on the middle, the Violin Acoustical Directory, and this is our old website, and of course these are all the different areas with instructions. Down here on the bottom, there's something that says tap tone scale. So this is your reference. Click on that. And then there's a tap tone scale at your fingertips, and these are the significant frequencies you'd use for tuning the violin. And on the right side, it suggests where these frequencies occur. And so for our case, the second one down, 306 tap tone recording, says Bridgefoot, Maker's Cut, G side. And the second file is 287. It says bridge foot, Maker's Cut East side. So you just click on that. Okay. And so you have that reference at that frequency, a wood reference at that frequency compared to what you hear. So by using that, I think is a resource that allow you to either to do or at least appreciate the tonal adjustment. Okay, so thanks for watching, and keep enjoying music.